There's a reason so many women over 60 buy a beautiful maxi dress, wear it once and then quietly push it to the back of the closet, convinced it just wasn't right for them. They tell themselves the dress made them look shorter, or shapeless, or like they were swimming in fabric. But here's what almost nobody tells you at the store. It was never the dress. A maxi dress is one of the most forgiving, flattering pieces of clothing available to women over 60, when it's styled correctly. And the difference between a maxi dress that overwhelms you and one that makes you look effortlessly elegant almost never comes down to size, height, or body shape. It comes down to 3 specific styling choices, small ones, the kind that take seconds to apply but completely change how the entire dress falls, moves, and reads on your body. Most women have never been shown these 3 tricks, which is exactly why so many perfectly beautiful maxi dresses end up unworn. Stick around because hack number 2 is the one that instantly solves the single biggest complaint women have about maxi dresses, and it costs you absolutely nothing extra. Welcome back to Elegant Beyond 60, the channel built on one simple belief, that looking beautiful after 60 was never about spending more money. It was always about knowing more information, the kind that actually works with real bodies, not mannequins. If you're new here, hello. I'm genuinely glad you found us, especially today, because maxi dresses are one of those pieces so many women give up on far too quickly. And if you're one of our regulars, welcome back. You already know we like to prove that the right knowledge changes everything, without needing to buy anything new. Today we're tackling maxi dresses specifically, and 3 genius styling hacks that let you wear them beautifully at any height, shape, or size. This topic matters so much because a maxi dress done right is genuinely one of the most comfortable, elegant, and effortless things you can put on your body, and it's such a shame how many women write them off simply because nobody ever showed them the small adjustments that make all the difference. Before we get into it, if you've got a maxi dress hanging in your closet that you're not quite sure how to wear, do me a quick favor and tap that subscribe button. It costs you nothing, and it helps this channel keep reaching more women exactly like you. While you're there, tap like too, it tells me exactly what topics to bring you more of. Alright, let's get into hack number 1, because it's the foundation everything else builds on. Before we get into the 3 hacks themselves, I want you to understand something important about why maxi dresses so often go wrong in the first place. A maxi dress is essentially a large, uninterrupted column of fabric from shoulder to ankle, and a column that size has enormous visual power. It can either flow beautifully with your body and make you look tall, elegant, and put together, or it can swallow your shape entirely, hide where your waist is, and make you look shorter and boxier than you actually are. The difference between those 2 outcomes almost never comes down to the dress itself. It comes down to 3 small adjustments that shape and define that column of fabric so it works with your body instead of just hanging there. Hack number 1. Define the waist with a belt placed slightly higher. This is genuinely the foundation everything else in this video builds on, so let's take our time with it. A maxi dress worn completely unbelted, straight off the hanger exactly as it's designed, tends to read as one long, uninterrupted shape from shoulder to floor. There is nothing in that silhouette telling the eye where your waist actually is, which means the eye has no reference point at all, and a shape with no reference point often reads as shapeless, regardless of what your body actually looks like underneath the dress. A belt fixes this instantly, but here's the detail almost nobody mentions, and it's the entire secret behind why this hack works so well specifically for women over 60. Rather than placing the belt at your natural anatomical waistline, place it very slightly higher, an inch or so above where your waist actually sits. This tiny adjustment does something remarkable. It visually elevates the entire waistline, which in turn makes the legs appear longer beneath it, since more of the overall dress now falls below that new, higher waist point. On a floor-length garment specifically, this small elevation genuinely changes the entire proportion of the body from head to toe, making you appear taller and more elongated, rather than shorter and compressed. Choose a belt with a bit of width and structure to it rather than something thin and delicate, since a slightly wider belt creates a clearer, more visible break in that long column of fabric, giving the eye a stronger, more obvious reference point to work with. This one adjustment alone, moving the belt slightly higher than you might instinctively place it, is often the single difference between a maxi dress that looks shapeless and one that looks intentionally, beautifully tailored to your body. Hack number 2. Choose a dress with a slight slit, or create one with a side gather. Here it is, the hack I promised you at the very beginning, The one that solves the single biggest complaint women have about maxi dresses: the feeling of being swallowed or swamped in fabric with every single step. A completely uninterrupted column of fabric, moving as one solid unit with each stride, can feel heavy and look static, especially in motion, which is exactly where so many women start to feel like the dress is wearing them rather than the other way around. A slight slit at the side or front of the dress, even a modest one rising just to the knee or slightly above it, solves this immediately. It introduces movement and visual interest into that long column, allowing a small amount of leg to show with each step, which breaks up the fabric visually and creates a sense of motion and lightness rather than heaviness. If you already own a maxi dress without a slit and aren't ready to alter it permanently, there's a wonderfully simple temporary solution. Gather a small amount of fabric at one hip, just above where your hand naturally rests, and secure it with a small clip or a simple knot tied directly into the fabric itself. This creates a soft, asymmetrical rise on one side, mimicking the effect of a slit without any permanent alteration at all, and you can release it in seconds if you want the fuller length back. Both versions of this hack accomplish the exact same goal. They break up that long static column of fabric, introduce a bit of leg and movement into the silhouette, and instantly make the entire dress feel lighter, more dynamic, and less overwhelming on the body, all while keeping the elegant floor-skimming length that makes maxi dresses so wonderful in the first place. Hack number 3. Add vertical layering with an open front piece. Our third and final hack addresses something that trips up a huge number of women wearing maxi dresses, particularly through the upper body and bust area. Because a maxi dress is one continuous piece of fabric, the visual weight of the entire outfit tends to concentrate heavily in that one uninterrupted vertical expanse, which can sometimes make the upper body look flatter or less defined than it actually is, especially under certain lighting or in certain fabric weights. Adding an open front layering piece, a lightweight kimono, an open cardigan, or an unbuttoned linen shirt worn over the dress and left open rather than closed, introduces a second vertical line running down the center front of the body, alongside the dress itself. That second line does something genuinely clever. It creates a subtle visual division through the torso, breaking up what would otherwise be one flat, uninterrupted panel of fabric from the bust down to the floor. This division adds dimension and structure to the upper body specifically, which is often exactly the area women feel gets lost or flattened in a full-length dress. The key here is keeping the layering piece open rather than closed or belted shut. A closed piece simply becomes another layer added to that same uninterrupted column, defeating the entire purpose. Left open, it creates two distinct vertical lines, the open edges of the layering piece and the dress itself peeking through the center, giving the whole silhouette far more structure, dimension, and visual interest than the dress could ever achieve entirely on its own. Alright, pause with me for a second here. If hack number 2 just solved a frustration you've been having with a maxi dress sitting in your own closet, comment below and let me know. Is that dress finally coming out of hiding? I read every single comment, and it genuinely helps me decide what to cover in future videos. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, now's the perfect time, because we're about to bring all 3 of these hacks together and show you exactly how they work in combination. Let's keep going. Now here's where these 3 hacks become genuinely powerful, because they were never meant to be used in isolation. They work together, each one solving a different part of the same underlying problem, that long uninterrupted column of fabric that can either flatter or overwhelm depending entirely on how it's shaped and broken up. Picture this. A belt placed slightly higher than your natural waistline defines where your waist sits and elongates your legs beneath it. A slight slit or a simple gathered knot at the hip introduces movement and breaks up the fabric with each step, letting a little leg show and instantly lightening the whole silhouette. And an open front layering piece adds a second vertical line through the torso, giving the upper body structure and dimension it wouldn't have on its own. Together, these 3 small adjustments transform a maxi dress from something that risks looking shapeless and heavy into something that reads as effortlessly elegant, deliberately styled, and genuinely flattering, regardless of your height, your size, or your particular body shape. None of this requires buying a single new item, a belt you likely already own, a simple knot tied into fabric, and a cardigan or shirt pulled from your existing closet. That's genuinely all it takes. The dress was never the problem. The missing piece was simply knowing these 3 small adjustments existed at all. Let's bring everything together quickly, because I want this to stick with you the next time you reach for that maxi dress. Place your belt slightly higher than your natural waistline to define your shape and elongate your legs. Introduce movement with a slight slit or a simple gathered knot at the hip to break up the fabric and lighten the silhouette. And add an open front layering piece to give your upper body structure and dimension. Used together, these 3 simple adjustments change everything about how a maxi dress looks and feels on your body. If this video changed how you think about that maxi dress hanging quietly in your closet, that's exactly why I make these videos. So before you go, do me one more favor. Like this video so more women your age can find it too. Drop a comment telling me which of these 3 hacks you're trying first. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time. Because next week we're covering another simple styling shift that changes everything, without costing you a single extra penny. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. That beautiful dress in your closet deserves to be worn. And now you have exactly what you need to wear it well. I will see you in the next one.